welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachael
and Neil Young. We're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachael and Neil Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm pitting out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that? Hey!
All right, we're here with the summer series where we're highlighting Rachael's power team or dream team. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's an awesome team. And today we've got a really exciting guest. We've got Lacey Jane here, who's from Highly Anticipated, and she is a branding and website designer. What was it? Shoot, I was so good right till then.
That was it.
Branding and what?
Brand and website designer. You got it, Neil.
Designer.
You nailed it.
Damn it. It is designer. It just sounded funny all of a sudden. I'm like, designer? Like I had like clothing in my head. Like,
she also makes clothes. She makes clothes as well. She's actually an incredible human. So
you make clothes too?
I just picked up sewing and I'm a knitter.
No, I did a lifestyle shoot of her and she wore this great cardigan sweater and she actually knit it herself, which I was like, what? You're insane. I learned how to knit. I was a newborn photographer and I did I wanted all those cute little newborn props. So I learned how to knit to make some of the props and it took hours on end to get these props done. And so I have huge respect for what you do because it's very time consuming and difficult. So good on you. Yes. Well, thank you for coming on, Lacey. So excited to have you. Lacey and I have been together since 2019 working. She's been helping with my website and my brand, and she's been absolutely phenomenal. So I've loved working with you. But Lacey, why don't you go ahead and just talk about kind of where you started, how long you've been in the business. Just give us your bio and your elevator pitch.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been a brand and web designer since 2015, and I started at my kitchen table. Similar kind of origin story to Rachael. I was post-divorce and wondering what the heck I was going to do with my life. And I'd also just finished up with my graphic design bachelor's. I was earning that when I was raising my son, who's now a teenager, when he was little. So I was newly graduated, had this diploma, and newly divorced too. And I was also in the midst of a name change. I did not like my married name. And in this effort for kind of reclaiming my identity, I took my middle name as my last name, not knowing that when I was going into this job search, I finally ended up doing just a Google search on my new professional name. And my heart sank because the new name that was on all of my legal documents, it was on my resume, my LinkedIn and everything, was the same name as an adult film star. And I didn't know much about SEO at the time, but I did know that outranking on search somebody in that industry was going to be very, very challenging.
You think? Is that when you came up with Highly Anticipated?
No, so Highly Anticipated
I was going to say stiff competition.
Yeah, it was a business that I started back in 2005, I want to say. It was really early, and I was doing wedding invitation designs. And so it was like, well, an event is highly anticipated. So that's actually the origin story behind my business name. But what I learned about SEO from the time that I realized I had some challenges to now really formed my career and my perspective on just how a normal human being who's trying to accomplish things and also has a family and other interests is going to make an impact online with digital marketing. Became very aware of the challenges and branding and how to set myself apart with design. And so that was really the catalyst for my career. Now, I ended up not being hired or working for anybody else because during the same time, My mom, who was co-owning a law firm, just started up with her law partners. And she said, well, if you think you can help with the branding and logo, why don't you come in and pitch to my partners, and it'll kind of bridge, the time between you looking for a job and you getting a job. So she's like, come on in and pitch them. No promises, because that's my mom. She's like, nepotism light. So I go in there and I'm like, I think if we do this, it'll look really great, really professional. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't have a system, didn't have a way of invoicing them, didn't have really a clue, and learned everything from them just saying yes, and me being like, well, I'm not going to disappoint them.
Good for you. Just jumped
So,
right in. I love it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Google was my enemy and my friend at the same time, because I was Googling how to build a website on the daily.
That's awesome. Yeah. Sink or swim.
Yep.
Sometimes that's
Into
the
the
best
fire.
way. Like the opportunity, I feel like we've had a couple guests on now, and most of them say, like, somebody mentioned that I should do this and I just dove in and did it. And then that turned into so much more. So it's like taking that risk and not saying no to the opportunity when it presents itself is huge. Like that can turn into a lot more. So good on you.
Likewise, you're not the only guest we've had that had to battle a porn star name. I believe.
That's true. Yeah. Jordan
Yeah.
Powers. So before we started the podcast, Lacey informed us she has listened to all of our podcasts, which, like, wow, thank you for following.
She knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I feel like I know Neil.
So
That's
the
hilarious.
successful real estate photographer can battle the SEO around a porn star. That's
Yeah.
so good.
So can you. So can you.
Right.
Probably even better because, well, he's also really good at like Google and all that stuff. Like I need to call him and pick his brain. But and yours. All right. Anything else about where you're at? Like, what are you specializing in today? What are you kind of working on now?
Yeah. So fast forward about 7 years, I've worked with some incredible professionals, some amazing brands, and even smaller companies. And it just continues to amaze me, like the people who come into my inbox and they're like, hey, we want to work with you. It's like, really? I'm
That's
still at
cool.
that point. And then when I met Rachael, it was through a mutual friend and client, Nicolette Bow, the Dutch designer, who's absolutely incredible. And we had talked when I first had done Nicolette's website. I was like, this is the easiest job in the world, because all of her photos were so gorgeous. And anybody who's built a website knows that, like, you gotta have great images. That's kind of like the foundation. It just makes your job so much easier. So when I sat down with Rachael, she was using a Wix website, and this was still Rachael and photography. She hadn't moved over to Focus Media Collective.
Yeah.
And we were talking about her goals and how she was going to present herself. And what she said that I hear a lot of people who are building their business say is that I really need to look professional. I want my brand to be clean. I want it to inspire confidence that, like, I can do what I say I'm going to do. So that's where we started. And we worked with Rachael Ann. We just cleaned up the logo. She had sent me some logo designs that she had found off of Etsy. And what's really great about Rachael that she understands is that she does not, oh gosh, what's the word to say this? Like, she does not sweat the small stuff, and she really, really cares about the important stuff. And so when it came to her branding, she just has this natural, like, litmus test of, that feels good, I'm going for it. And I'm like, not only going for it, I'm like diving all in. And before she finds that thing that's like right, it's just no, that's not it. And she doesn't sweat it, which is so beautiful as somebody working with a client, to have that type of just innate knowledge of who you are and what you like and what's gonna go.
As
Yeah,
far
I think
as that,
sugar.
is that like feedback for, like, you would come up with some things and she would be like, well, I don't think that's it. But, or if it was it, she's like 100%, let's go for it. Is that kind of like what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I worked in retail, and we had a lot of women who would come out in these outfits, and we had to learn how to say no. Like, that does not look good on you, but you can't tell them it looks bad. So you're like, that's not my favorite. So that really taught me, like, if you don't like something, like speak up. I don't want that woman going out and wearing that to her event if she looks bad in it. Like I got to make sure. So it's like just knowing what you like and what you don't like. And yeah, and it's all about transparency when you're working with someone that's actually helping you develop your brand. It's like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to hurt your feelings. You know, like we're here to work together and to come up with something that we both love and want to work towards. So it was, yeah, I think it was great because you don't take offense to it. You know, that's part of the process.
I'm
And
like, give it to me. Say it
yeah.
right.
What don't you like so I can make it better? Like, how can I fix it? How can we find something you do like?
Yeah.
Is that helpful? Is that helpful to you, Lacey, to get that feedback? Because I think a lot of us have the opposite fear that if we
Yeah.
say no, you're gonna then like we're not gonna have a good working relationship, whatever the case might be. But I think it'd be interesting to hear if that is actually helpful to speak up and give some feedback or whatever.
This is such a cool teachable moment because as a new business owner, maybe you haven't ever worked with a designer before. I know, and the other designers that I work with, we come to it with the idea that what we want is the client to walk away and really feel like they've gotten something great, something that they were part of the process with, and that only our collaboration together and them could have made it.
Hmm.
And when you focus on the outcome being that, like, I want you to just freaking love your logo. I want you to love your brand. I want you to love your website and send everybody to that. If that is the goal, you will take every feedback that you can to just get there. Like
Great.
that's the drive. And, I feel with direct feedback, oh, Nicolette Bow is the best
she ever.
biggest example.
I don't know who she is,
You
but I'm
don't know
excited.
this woman,
Let's
but
hear
she
it.
is the most honest, direct person you'll ever meet on the planet. Like,
Beautiful,
no
Neil.
sugarcoating ever.
She does not sugarcoat
Raw.
for anybody's benefit, not even her clients. I don't think she does.
I don't.
She's like, no.
Mhm.
No, she's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Full stop.
She's from where is she from? The Netherlands.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
Dutch.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's Dutch. So they have a little bit of a different culture over there to where they're very outspoken and they just speak whatever's on their mind and they don't really care if they offend you. It just is what it is and they're speaking the truth. And us Americans, we just dance around it all day long. So it's refreshing to be around her. Honestly, I'm like, gosh, sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a little offensive, but that's just who she is. It's fine.
I think my
There's
wife might be
truth in
Dutch. Like Christmas, I'll get my wife something. I try to like surprise. I've always been good at gifts, and I'll like try to surprise my wife with something. She's the first person ever that I've been in a relationship with where I'll get her something, and she's just like, "What's this?
Oh.
This isn't what I wanted. I didn't ask for this. What? I don't like it." And I'm like, "What? Okay."
Sorry.
So now I just like listen to what she wants, and then I get her that.
Neil's learning.
That was constructive feedback that resulted in a different behavior and action. And ultimately, you're both getting what you want, right?
That's right. That's right. She gets what she wants.
Win for everyone.
That's right. So that's good to know, though. So guys, do not be afraid when you're working with a designer, trying to get that logo, trying to get that website, speak your mind.
Yes.
And then you'll both feel more successful at the end of the day.
And sometimes you might need to show us examples. So what I'm doing as a brand designer is I'm trying to pick up on a feel and a personality, what feels authentic, and then to take that authenticity and then to not bring it up to, but to put it in the professional light. Because I work with professionals from, law firms, real estate photographers, designers, other designers. So it all has to meet that professionalism bar. And when we're assessing, like, is it good design? Is it bad design? I feel like so much can fall under both of those umbrellas. But one bar that we can set is like, is it professional? And that's always the bar that I want all my brands to reach. If you're working with a designer and you're giving honest feedback and they're just not picking up on the vibes that you're putting down, try bringing in other examples, whether that's a feel of a business, like, I want it to feel like walking into Nordstrom's. That's a very common type of situation that a brand will say when they want to have that like elevated luxury, that, textures And a trained brand designer will be able to pick up on those cues that you're giving them examples from and say, okay, what of that are they trying to tell me about themselves and where this brand is going that I need to then communicate with design?
Mm.
Yeah, I know one thing that Lacey and I did together when I did my rebrand was we did a core values exercise together. And it was a little uncomfortable because it's like you get pretty personal on some of these questions, but it's actually in my course whenever I launch that. It's just life's busy. We'll get there. But anyways, the core values exercise that you and I did together, I felt was a really good way for you to get to know what the core values are of my business, like what makes us who we are, and it was a good, I think it was really great for us to actually do it together because we could discuss what each one of those meant. And we both had different definitions of what love was and what beauty was. And, it's
Yeah.
fun. It was fun to kind of hear the different sides of like the way I look at things and the way she looks at things. So I think it just helped to bring it all together so she could have a better understanding of my business. So Lacey really dives in and really tries to get to know the personality and what your true vision is. And that's what I've loved about working with you, Lacey, is like you take the time to really discover as much as you can to be able to present what I have going up in my crazy brain out into a beautiful website. And you've done an incredible job with my brand. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm so proud of your brand too, just as a professional. And I love our relationship and the way we can talk about things. And the trust that you have in me is so affirming to my life choices.
Good. I love it. I love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about, I think it is important to iron this out too before we get too deep into this, because we're talking a lot about branding, right? It's come up a lot. And I want to make sure that we're kind of, because this is something we maybe have hit on here and there on other podcasts, but I want, now that we've got somebody specialized in this, I would love for her to kind of explain a little bit more what exactly we're talking about when we say branding. And Rachel, you've got a great brand, and thanks for trusting me with your brand. And what exactly are we talking about when we say that? And what's the importance of that for people growing their business?
Yeah. I'm going to break it down into 3 parts: how we define branding, like what it is,
Mm.
and then some hot takes on that, because I have a few that are contrary to other brand designers out there. And then I'm also going to talk about what isn't branding. Okay.
Okay.
The definition of branding is a set of communication styles. It's everything that's client facing that they see, and it's a representation of your values, your mission, and your vision.
Mm.
Hot takes. You ready for this?
Yes.
I don't fault anybody for hiring somebody off of Fiverr or, getting a quote unquote cheap logo, like using a logo template. I think those types of, like, adopting a visual brand that you say like, hey, that looks nice, and running with it is such a great way to get started.
Mm.
And the reason I say that is because what is branding? It's more than just a logo, fonts, and colors. It's the communication that you have and the feeling that you create with working with somebody. And if you can do that in something that's affordable so that you can get started, I think that's great. And it's not just for people who want to get started. The people that I feel should really invest in branding, and I work with a lot, are those who they've gone through some sort of burnout situation, or there's a conflict in the type of people that are coming to them for their service and they just don't like them. So the people that I think really need branding are, they want to craft not just any business, but their business, their vision, and their mission, and they're not seeing anything else out on the market, so they need to create it. And when you work with a brand designer to create that molded around the mission and vision, you don't just you're not just business owner to any business, you're a business owner to your business. And that matters because how you operate in that business changes, because how people see you changes, and then you get to
Right.
show up differently.
And I love that you say like those people that you want to work with are people that are maybe attracting clients that they don't want to work with. Like they're
Yeah.
attracting the wrong clients through their branding or whatever they're putting out there.
Yeah.
So by hiring a brand specialist, I want to say manager because I keep calling you that. My handy hiring someone that specializes in branding, they can help you to tailor your brand to where you are attracting your tribe and the clients you want to work with. So like if you only want to work with luxury real estate photographers or do luxury real estate photography, then someone like Lacey could come in and help you develop a brand that's going to set you up to look like the industry leader in luxury real estate photography. Is that
Exactly.
correct? Yeah.
That's an
Exactly. And
interesting
that's the power
point.
of branding.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
can position you. It's like brand positioning. It's here you are with the assets and the brand that you have, and here's where you want to go. And a brand designer can say, like, oh, here are the visual clues of where you want to go. Let me adapt that to your style and your personality and the way you do things and get you there.
Hmm.
So,
I
yeah.
like that thought, though, especially something to think about, that just because you have a website and just because you're getting leads doesn't mean it's efficient and you're actually getting the leads you need. So you might have good SEO. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you might get good SEO or hits or any of this kind of stuff, but it might be the wrong hits and the right.
Yeah.
So, so
I recently talked to a chiropractor who bought out a business, and the old chiropractor had a completely different philosophy than him.
mm,
So we were talking about how do you change this practice that has an established, I mean, it has great domain authority. Domain authority is one of the results of good SEO.
mm,
uh, that's how likely you're going to show up in like the search engines for Google or Bing. He has a website that he bought, a business that he bought that has great SEO, great domain authority. Unfortunately, the cases that he wants for his practice was really working with people, like he doesn't want to work with kids. He wants to work with people with like autoimmune
mm.
disease as a chiropractor because
Mm.
he has a whole arsenal of tools to help them. So that's one of the cases where it's like branding is the logo. So we're going to send signals out to the autoimmune community about what you can do for them. We're going to have messaging around that. We're going to put out a philosophy, and then we're going to take your approach of what it actually feels like to be in your office and to work with you. Photography will be a huge part of that. And to make them feel comfortable making that first step.
And is it as a obviously web designer, you're designing websites, but as a brand designer, what you do the website and you help with this information on the website, but does that also does that go into any other areas like, I don't know, social media or advertising, or is it all website based stuff?
I really do tend to focus on the brand and the website because I feel like those are the foundational blocks for then going out and doing social media marketing, to do paid advertisement. That's just kind of like the foundation for all the good stuff.
Hmm.
Is, do you have a brand look and feel and communication style that helps what you're doing as a business? And then do you have a website that is a good referral generator? It's a good brochure, because I do a lot of brochure websites. And then it also puts your business on the radar of search engines so that they can send referrals your way.
Right. Oh, and that's the other piece that you do a lot of, is that, right? Correct. You do a lot of the SEO stuff as well with the website. Because I think a lot of people always think about website, they're just thinking about the pretty pictures and the fonts and stuff like that. But there's all this stuff happening on the back end that gets people there, right? Can we talk a little bit more about kind of what you do with that and maybe some pointers and where to start or something like that?
Yeah, so I will preface this with, I'm not a numbers person. There are SEO professionals who will give you all the analytics and they'll follow Google Analytics very closely and give you a strategy based on that. Because I've had to MacGyver my own SEO, I have different tactics than kind of the traditional SEO person. Although I do know about like SEO tactics for websites, like the design of a website so that search engines find it usable, how to organize structured data, those kinds of things. So organizing structured data, optimizing your images so that your website loads quickly, the fonts and the designs, those are on-site SEO tactics. one of the things that I feel like new business owners aren't being told about is off-site SEO. This
Mm.
is your social media profiles. This is your listings on things like Google Business and Yelp. Um, hey Neil, in New York, is Yelp still a big deal? Because I feel like different markets have like different Yelp.
I don't know
New
how
Hampshire.
big it is
New
anymore.
Hampshire.
Yeah, New
Okay.
Hampshire, but that's
Do
okay.
you want to
But
rephrase it
my
for the
initials
question?
are NY for New York, so that's fine.
Oh yeah.
In fact, if you ever see a shirt and you get one, go to New York and you get a I Heart NY. If I see somebody wearing that, I just consider that they love me. That's how I see it. but in fact, when I went to New York, that's what I came back with for all the girls in my fam, because that's a heavily girl fam here. They all got the I Heart NY shirts. But no, so yes, Yelp still does exist. I don't know how much people are using it anymore. I every now and again I'll stumble across something on there and I'll look at it, but I don't hear about Yelp a lot from people, so I'm not really sure. I don't really have a finger on the pulse of that. I'm not sure. I know 10 years ago, yeah, definitely, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's different in different markets, and I know this podcast has a national reach. Are you global yet? Do you have
Yeah,
listeners?
we do
Oh,
actually. We do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's different in different markets. There are
mm,
Yeah.
still very Yelp intense markets in the United States. I believe San Francisco is one of those.
mm,
But what I'm most interested in is the Google business listing. And I cannot like yell this from the mountaintops enough. That is your best SEO strategy, is to have a Google business listing, optimize it to get people, your clients, to write you reviews and then to recapture those reviews for your social media.
Mhm.
That's what we call off-site SEO.
mm,
And that is what's going to grow a newer website or even expand an existing one, is
mm.
your ability to connect that back to search in the form of a Google listing and capture reviews.
So
Cool.
Lacey has helped me set this up on HD Photo Hub. So I use HD Photo Hub. Whenever I deliver my photos, there is a link in the email that they get that says, if you've enjoyed your service, please give us a review. And it's a link to my Google review. And we have, I don't know, 45 or 50 5-star, 4-star review, which we won't talk about
It
because I
happens.
actually reached out to it makes us look human, right? But I'm like, really? I went like above and beyond for this guy. And the only reason he gave us 4 stars is because I didn't sell the place. That's literally what he told me in a text. And I was like, come on, man. Do you know what that does to my rating? I'm not a perfectionist at all.
It did not do anything to your rating.
It was fine.
Because
It
it's kind
makes
of
us look real.
all
It makes us
it's
look
it's
real.
kind of like the all PR is good PR
Right.
kind of
Okay.
concept. Like if you were hovering around a 3.5, I would say like
Mm.
Rachel really gotta like do some stuff
Like
to
up
like
your game, girl. Be better.
we gotta see what we can do here, or maybe send
Yeah.
out the link a little less for
Yeah.
now until we like clean up some things. But no, all PR is good PR in the sense that you're just pinging that algorithm. You're that 1-star review, and especially if you reply to that
It
1-star
was
review.
4, not 1, for the
Oh, it
record.
was 4. Okay. I have a
I'm all
1-star
mad about a
review
4-star
that works
review.
at that company, and it's like, oh well, at least
Oh,
they
wow.
can say I don't pay for them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. But
So
we
how
set
many?
that up, what, like a year ago? I mean, it
Yeah.
hasn't been
So
long. So it doesn't take a lot to get reviews from your clients and just ask for them. Like say, hey, have you
Yeah,
given me a
that's
Google
super
review
smart.
lately? Like send it out in your newsletter, just email or text your friends that you know, shoot for. We all have made friends in this industry and yeah, they'll gladly give you reviews.
So many times we'll get an email after that or a text. Oh, they were so happy and the clients loved everything, but geez, I've just been missing out on getting these reviews. A dear.
It's
put
okay. I
it
was
in your
late to the game.
systems, Neil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Put
gonna
it in
do
your
that.
systems.
I'm gonna do that. That's super smart. And this is
And it
why I
doesn't
started doing the podcast with Rachel in the first place. I remember hearing her on uh, uh, that other podcast that I can't I'm blanking
Shooting
on the name right
spaces?
now. Thank you.
Yes.
And and I remember just like, oh, that's genius. Oh, that's genius. It's all this like just dead smart, simple stuff that I'm like, "Duh." Yeah. So
Which I
there
have
you
to
go.
give credit to
There's
my power
another.
team because they have helped me. Like I haven't
Mhm.
done this alone. I don't know what I'm doing. Like I just learn as I go and
See,
people help me and I learn,
that's right.
it's great.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yep. People like Lacey just
We do it.
help raising everybody up. It's
Exactly.
awesome.
Another thing that I really love about Google listings, I'm just going to drive this home a little bit more, is that you don't need that much more than your competitors. And most competitors are pathetic when it comes to collecting reviews.
Hmm.
Maybe when I got off my soapbox, there'll be a few more people that are pushing it, but it doesn't take much. It takes like 5, 10 reviews to start getting leads from Google. And depending on the quality of the reviews, like are they using keywords in their reviews about your service that people are searching for? It doesn't take very many of those to then kind of surpass all of the search engine results that are on the first page, because your business is there. You have all your 5-star reviews and that 1 4-star review. And people just click on that because it's like the trust.
Like, what did he say bad? He didn't even write anything. It just is 4 stars. I'm like, ugh. I wish he would have said she didn't bring me a buyer. And I would have been like, okay, you're funny. Like, I'll take it. It's fine.
Rachel's going to find this guy.
I already know who he is. I reached out and was like, I didn't want to tell him that I saw his 4-star review, but like I saw the name on Google. And so I texted him. I was like, hey, just wanted to check in and make sure you're happy with your photos. Is there anything else we could have done better to like service you? And he said, nope, photos look fantastic. Just could have brought me a buyer. And I was like, I mean,
come on, that's not my job.
I should have never. Well, no, I told him I was a broker and I told him that I was kind of interested to purchase the place for an Airbnb, but Kirkland has weird rules for Airbnb, so it was out. I was like, sorry. Anyways, I shouldn't have got his hopes up. Apparently, he was heartbroken and I didn't sell it for him. So next time I'm gonna shut my big mouth.
Wanted to drive it in with that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Don't tell anybody you're a carpenter or they'll expect you to fix their stairs, right?
I know, seriously.
Back to branding or back to website and SEO?
Well, we were talking about branding. I feel like website and SEO is good. We talked about the reviews. Anything else you want to say? You said, I'm just going to drive it home. Like, hopefully those kick some people's butts. Like you can exceed past other people from just your Google reviews, which I think is really helpful information. So what else would you like to
always show up higher as a local in your local. So one thing I want people to understand about search engine results is that your search engine results for if you type in lasagna recipes are going to look totally different than like even maybe your partner's search engine results, like in the same house, because it's based on your location, but also your activity. So for some people searching my name, they're always going to find that because their search engines have that.
Right.
So
they have the adult industry. Like
if they have the adult history in your search engine results, Google is like, I know what you want.
Yeah. Bing. Here you go. You'd be like, and then I just want to get my website redone. What'd you say? Sorry. And
then you won't find any of my awesome designs because I'm not there.
Right. I want to say so many things, but I'm not going to.
I just, that's why
you're going to find a lot of other things.
I just find a lot of other things. An education of a different sort.
I'm just going to be quiet.
Mom's the word.
Not going to say a word.
Okay, enough about porn stars. Back to Lacey and her wonderful branding and SEO.
So yeah, it's going to really be location centric. What I've noticed about really increasing my own Google listing profile and when I work with other clients is that one of the things from digital marketing that I feared and I experienced was bad leads. And not bad people, just bad leads. Like they were not right for my business. And also very like spammy things. That was also something that I was really nervous about. Like as you digital market, you get more of everything. So you get more leads, but you also get more bad leads.
Right.
What I really love about the Google listing is businesses that are finding me are in my town. They have been really dedicated to working with somebody local, which you don't get in the brand and web design industry so much. These are people that are really, really passionate about working with people that are local. So if that's one of your values, then that's definitely something to explore. But the quality of people, and they're people that I know, they go to the same coffee shops that I go to. Well, I don't know them, but like they share a similar experience to me, and they're really great quality leads for my business because of what my values are and what they're looking for. Like I could do that.
Yeah. Well, and most of us real estate photographers, we're all looking for clients that are local. So, what can we do to help with that? Like help just attract local people? Like what kind of easy, simple things could we do today that would help us show up better on Google locally?
Have a listing. That's like number one is like
So
have
like
a,
a
so you have to claim your profile, your business listing on Google.
okay.
Send it to friends, families, clients that you've worked with in the past to then add ratings, because the ratings really do up the rank of who they're likely to show when somebody is searching for a real estate photographer, Kirkland.
Okay. That's great
Um,
advice.
and then fill out the photos, however many photos that it allows, fill it up with your beautiful photography. This is like the industry that's so easy. Like, what do you put for a law firm
Right.
for like the photos? I
Like,
mean, you put like, people feeling comfortable talking to another person, that kind of thing.
yeah. Yeah.
I feel like for real estate photography, you guys have such a heads up on branding, because branding really does come down to the images that you produce.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And a lot of so I do lifestyle photos as well. And I know there's quite a few real estate photographers that are either trying to do that or they do currently do lifestyle and branding photos as well. A lot of this conversation translates into those branding photos because you really want to get to know the person and where they're going to use their photos, what look and feel they're going for. It's almost like the same discovery call that you and I have, Lacey, I'm having with my lifestyle and branding clients who want photos for their website. I'm like, okay, well, who's your target market? What are you focusing on? Do you want high-end listings? Are you trying to work with seniors? Like, who's your target market? Like all these questions that help to position them and make them look like the industry leader in that market so that they're attracting their tribe. So it's really the same concept as what you're doing, but we're just doing it with photos.
And I'm sure that you kind of run into some of the same bugaboos with people with their photos of like how they look
Oh
on
my
camera.
gosh.
And I
I did.
know,
Yeah, I did a lifestyle shoot today. I
yeah,
shouldn't say anything, but it
edit
was
it out.
it was good. It was good, but they were two older women and they're going after they want to do seniors. They're real estate brokers and they want to sell to seniors. And I mean, they were just I walk up and she's like wearing like a tank top and wide leg jeans, whatever. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, if I looked like you, so skinny, this would be easy." Like, first thing she says to me, I haven't even said, "Hi, nice to meet you." And I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be a tough one. And she's a little bit shorter, a little bit stout. And she's like in her probably 60s. But I'm like, what do you say to that? I'm like, it's my genes. My dad was really skinny. I'm just lucky. Like, I just kind of laugh it off. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Rachael. Nice to meet you. We're going to make you look great today." But it's like trying to think about what would seniors want to see, because I knew she was advertising to seniors. I'm like, I don't want to do anything too trendy. I don't want it to look like they don't need to be on their phones. I don't need pictures of them like they're on social media. They don't really even use social media. It's going to be a lot of like print mail and flyers. So they need to look approachable, professional, and
Like they're working, like in
right.
action,
Yeah.
putting up the things like, I'm going to work for your business, that kind of boomer ethic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I think I did pretty good. We'll see. I don't know.
I'm sure you did great.
It's so hard sometimes. I'm like, I'll do my best. Like, I just want him to have fun. I'm like, you know what? However you feel on the inside is going to come out on the outside. Let's just have fun. Forget the cameras here. Joke around, laugh. Like, come on, we got this.
It is so cool being on the other side of your camera as a brand designer, because I work with people's insecurities and the things that they don't want to show, the things that they really want to appear as, but maybe it's not authentic to them. And I'm always stressing, like, if you could feel safe in your authenticity, you would be unstoppable. Like that is the thing that we crave in this digital era, is like we really crave authenticity and
Mhm.
to know somebody and to feel like if they can accept who they are, then maybe I can too. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's like the most beautiful feeling in the world to me
Mm-hmm.
personally. Like that just lights me up. And so being on the other side of your camera as somebody who, my body has changed since my second child, and I'm starting to notice wrinkles in my face and, the perception that I have of what I look like. And then when I see the results on the camera, if I can get over the bugaboos about body image and I can just embrace my full self. And so when I was on the other side of Rachel's camera being photographed for my branding photo shoot, I was really reminding myself, like, it's okay to be me. It's okay to be me in
Mm-hmm.
my body. I am safe. I can show up and people are still going to love and appreciate me. And the cool thing is like the haters, like they just don't say anything at my stage. So I never
Yeah.
hear it. Like
So true. It's so
I
funny too that everybody has that perspective when they walk into like a headshot session or a branding session. The first thing out of their mouth is like, "You're good at Photoshop, right?" And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, this is you, and everybody sees you every day. And guess what? They like you. Uh,
yeah.
this we should be showing you, not the
Yeah.
Photoshop version of you. This is you, and they're going to gravitate to you, and they're going to be people that respect that you have a couple wrinkles. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's funny that it's a battle, but people really do need to embrace loving themselves and just putting it out there, because guess what, they already love you and they already work with you. You're not fooling anybody with a Photoshop fake image
Exactly.
or
And
fake branding that isn't you. You're not fooling anybody, because it's gonna be you and your business at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
there's
And
nothing
if you Photoshop your photo so much that you look 10 years younger and then you show up to go meet them and you're not dressed cute and it doesn't look anything like you, you're going to break that trust. They're going to be like, who is this girl? This isn't the girl that I hired off the website. Like, what?
right.
I used to Photoshop the shit out of my face. You guys, I would go in and take every single little sunspot, take out my bags, like push things in. Like, I used to go crazy just because I could. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And now I'm like, I just do the Lightroom little glamour filter, which whitens my teeth, puts a little lipstick on, like kind of smoothes skin, but I don't go in and do the wrinkles. Like I just let it be because it is what it is.
Right.
And I am 40 years old and it's okay. I'm going to have some wrinkles. I have a little cellulite. Like it's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. And nobody cares. That's the
No.
thing that I
It's
think
just us that
people get.
we
Yes,
care
it's a
about our own
personal
selves
thing.
more than anybody else care. Nobody else goes that and picks us apart like we do to
No,
ourselves.
no.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
do
some
believe
psychopath.
that there's people who don't feel safe being who they are. I think that's
Mm.
the best sign that you need to get out of the environment that you're in, is that you don't
Mm.
feel safe being who you are.
Yeah, totally. Like I feel like if you can feel comfortable in your own skin and love who you are, then the rest of your life is everything is going to be more positive in your life. Like you have to find that self-love or you won't be able to prosper and
Yeah.
really live a fulfilled life. That's the one thing I've loved about you, Lacey, is like we just dive right in. Like I feel like you're a little bit more introverted than I am, but we just get there's none of like the fluff or the BS. It's like let's just get there. Let's just go. Like we know what we're here to do. We just dive right in. I feel like we connect really well. I've always felt comfortable with you. I feel safe. Like that's one thing that I've always valued about you. So thank you.
Oh, my husband's home from work.
Hi, hubby.
So I had to like edit that out and like reshoot
Nah.
it.
We want to meet the husband.
Bring him in. The man behind the woman. Here we go.
Yeah,
We
shoot
actually
it.
have that episode happening too.
No, so my husband works at a jiu-jitsu gym. Shout out to Gracie Baja in Issaquah. And he's probably rolled with a dozen sweaty people. He runs like the best kids program in the world over there.
Oh,
So
that's
if you have any
awesome.
So cool.
kids in Issaquah, you should send them to his gym because he's the best.
Oh, that's
Oh, so
amazing.
cool.
Oh, my
I love
son
it.
would love that, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
jujitsu is awesome. It's so great. That's cool.
Do you do jujitsu?
I have.
A few
Oh, does
times.
she or me?
I
Oh,
was asking Lacey, but we'll ask you too, Neil. You just go away, Neil. I'm not talking to you. Okay, Lacey, have you done it?
a few times, but I bruise really easily, so it's not fun.
Oh, and Neil?
Yeah, it's rough. It is definitely rough. No, I have done it a little bit. My buddy I used to work with is a black belt in jujitsu, and he used to do MMA fights and all that kind of stuff. So he would choke me on occasion just at work, you know.
Oh, delightful.
It's just fun to them. Once they do jujitsu, they're looking at you like when you wear a hooded sweatshirt. To them, that's just like, oh, there's like 4 different chokes I could do to you right now. Mind if I try? All right. So, what would you say to somebody maybe who hasn't done a lot of the website stuff, or maybe hasn't figured out a logo they love, or really is just getting started and trying to do some of this website and branding stuff? Where should they start? What's the most important things they should get going on?
Yeah, Neil, I would say that even before they start branding, it's really exercising that what makes you different, what is authentic to you, what is the business that you want to have? Because the branding and the website are tools to help you get there. But if you don't know what you want or who you are, you could make something that's very inauthentic. And the result of branding and putting together a website for an inauthentic business is burnout and why is this not landing? And just all these things that I don't want for people. So put in that effort to one, feel safe being who you are, flaws that you perceive and all, because that's really what's going to connect you to an audience and make you real and make you the choice that people want to work with. Is they want to work with you and you are bringing you to them and they see that. So feel safe being you, figure out what's authentic, figure out the business that you want to have, and then brand and do all the marketing and website and promotion stuff around that.
That's
Super smart.
fantastic advice. I love
Yeah.
that. Because you don't want to create something that's not authentic, that's not you, or you're gonna not be happy. I mean, and once you do figure it out, you're gonna move into that next chapter in your life and be like, oh my gosh, my brand is totally not who I really am, and yeah.
Yeah. If you think about it money wise, sorry, I was going to say, if you think about it money wise, if your foundation on all that is wrong, you're going to be putting a lot of money into all these things that you want to do, ads, website building, all this stuff. And it's just going to be a waste because it's not hitting the right mark.
Yeah. And I feel like I do follow a few accounts who have rebranded. They did something that they felt was very authentic for a while. And then they had this moment where it was like, oh shit, I'm something completely different. And then they rebrand. And yes, you do have a portion of the audience that no longer feels connected to you and they leave, but you also have that new incoming. And so I feel like your authenticity is for you because you want to feel good about experiencing your business and you don't want to put on a mask every single day because that is fucking exhausting.
Yeah,
Such a good point.
100%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing more exhausting than trying to be something.
That you're not.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Cool.
I like it.
Well,
I like
what about too about resources, Lacey? Any thoughts of what people could look into, or how do they find somebody? I mean, are you accepting clients? I don't know. Like if they're looking for somebody, what should they do, or where should they start?
Yeah, I offer traditional brand and website services. We really do the deep dive to get to know you. I say we, but it's me. I do the deep dive. I really get to know you. And you can learn more about the services that I offer on my website, highlyanticipated.net. If you are interested about anything I said about the Google listing, I have this incredible offer coming up. It's a mini course. You could take it in less than 2 hours and learn how to set up a Google listing, how to put some systems into place in your business, and really capitalize on this awesome, awesome free tool that we have. My book to learn the free tool is like $9. It's going to be available end of August, but you can check out my website and there'll be a sign up page where you can learn more when it launches.
I love it.
Cool. And we'll put the website and the information below too. Awesome.
Do you have any other resources or tools for people to learn kind of the basics of branding and SEO and offsite SEO stuff? Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I have a course coming up about branding and SEO, but it'll be more centered towards personal branding as opposed to branding and website building for a business.
Okay.
Personal tools, follow me on Instagram, highly.anticipated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lacey has a lot of good information out there. So
Cool.
she's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm following you right now, Lacey. Am I? I don't know. How would you know? I'm gonna follow you.
So Lacey,
I
you
know
have
every single follower I have.
Oh my. It takes a lot of effort.
Not when you only have 5, Rach.
Okay, good point. All right. I need to learn the drum thing to do. Boop. There it is. Thank you. Yeah, we need the sound effects in the
Thank
podcast.
you, Lacey. So cool having you on the podcast. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. And A lot of really helpful information, stuff that I'm getting the course, first of all, because I got to do all that stuff that we talked about today.
Same here. So, Lacey, just to clarify, you have the $9 course that helps you kind of set up a my business Google profile and get started with the SEO. And then you have another course coming out that's kind of more inclusive of like more stuff
Personal
about branding, personal branding. Okay, cool.
And
Awesome.
then one-on-one services that I offer.
Love it. All right. Well, if you guys are looking to elevate your brand to the next level, you have a good idea of who you are and where you want to go with your business, Lacey is amazing and she will help you get there. So if you're interested, reach out to highlyanticipated.net. She's fantastic. Thank you for coming, Lacey. Appreciate it.
Great. Nice meeting you, Neil.
Nice meeting you too, Lacey. All right. Have a great one, guys.
All right.
We'll see you on the next one, guys.
We should say that in sync. 1, 2, 3. We'll see you on the next
one, guys.
Just kidding. Okay, bye.
Bye.